Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spiritual Journey podcast. My name is Nimesh Radia, and I'm your host. I always love starting every episode by saying thank you. I feel so very blessed with this podcast, the people it reaches, the impact it's having. I receive messages weekly about people finding this podcast when they need it most, and it really does truly lift my soul and my heart. So thank you. Thank you for everyone the messages. Thank you. If you're a regular listener, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for everyone that supports this podcast. I feel so very blessed. I am an Akashic record reader, Akashic trainer, podcast host, podcast creator, as well as a spiritual coach and mentor. And what I get to do is I get to guide people on their journey. I get to hold their space while they're going through a shift. I get to help people to understand their programming and truly why they're here. And I love what I get to do. And, my healing happens as I heal others too. So I feel very blessed. So once in a while I do. So I regularly release 2 episodes a week. Mondays tends to be an episode with my co-host, Stacey Brown. Thursdays tends to be an episode with a beautiful guest. With this podcast, I get to interview so many amazing, beautiful guests. But every once in a while I get inspired to do a solo episode, and done a few in the past. The last one I did an episode around coming out of the cocoon, and I created a second episode, which is a supporting meditation. I'm going to do the same this time. It's just kind of similar theme, but it's kind of what we're going through right now. So today I'm going to be talking about rebirth, and the fact is it's a daily choice. It's showing up for your soul again and again. It's like so many people talk about a rebirth or awakening as a one-time thing. And for me, our spiritual journey involves many rebirths, many awakening, just part of our journey, right? An awakening, I've shared a couple of my awakening stories in previous episodes, and they were, for me, an acceleration of my journey. They were like a kickstart to awaken a deeper connection to my soul. And that's really where we're going to go deeper today. It's just, I talk a lot about the planet going through a shift, and we're shifting from divine masculine to divine feminine. And this is a period where I feel the planet's been preparing for centuries and centuries. And every soul that's here has chosen to be here, and in many ways is more powerful than you realize. So if you listen to this, you chose to be here, you're meant to be here, you needed, you wanted. And I talk a lot about, we're all going through a rebirth, we're all going through some kind of reset. Because we are going through, I feel like we're all going through a shift in line with what the planet's going through. And whatever you're going through is perfect for you. No one is further ahead or behind or whatever that looks like. It's a story we tell ourselves. So wherever you are, exactly where you're meant to be in your spiritual journey, in your awakening. But like I said, I feel like we're all going through a shift. And, we love our human labels, whether it's an awakening, a rebirth, an ascension. It's all, for me, it's all part of the same journey. It's part of the same spiritual journey. We're a soul having a human experience. So, so often we want to try and bypass things, and we'll be happy when this happens, or when I get to know what my gifts are, then I'll be happy. When I know my purpose, my destiny. We're meant to live in the moment, right? We're a soul having a human experience, so living in the moment is really important. But go back to the topic, right? Rebirth. Being a regular occurrence and showing up for your soul again and again. I feel like the cycles we're going through right now are coming through much quicker. It's almost like we're going through what we've, maybe in 6 months that maybe previously would have taken a year. So it means that everything's coming up really quickly. And the cycles we're clearing, I'm recording this just before the new moon. I'm going to release it on the new moon. New moons are usually time to manifest and new beginnings. This one's an intense one. There's a lot of other things happening on the planetary activity, but I do feel like we're all going through a rebirth. And this time, with all the planets in retrograde, and I feel like our energy is being drained and we're prepared for something. This is why this topic felt really appropriate. So we start by talking about rebirth. Rebirth sounds like an overnight thing, but it doesn't have to be a dramatic moment. It can be a gentle recommitment to who you are. But it is a shedding of every aspect of you, in terms of your expectations, in terms of the people around you, in terms of maybe even what you do for the planet, your career. But it's definitely a shift and just the things you used to enjoy, you don't enjoy doing anymore. Sometimes we feel like, we can only go through rebirth and awakening when we hit rock bottom. Why do you want to wait to hit rock bottom? And yeah, sometimes it's true, right? Sometimes dark night of the soul is really that deep dark moment where everything just feels dark and everything feels like you're just ready to let it all go and leave this realm. And and I'll record another episode talking about dark night of the soul, but you get nudges, you get signals, you get messages from your guides, and it's just rock bottom happens when you miss the initial signals. So what if you don't have to hit rock bottom to change? What if rebirth can happen earlier in the process? Daily, it's like sometimes we wait for this big epiphany, this magic flash in the sky. But if we can focus on the daily micro shifts, the daily magic moments, when you add all of that up, that's what becomes the epiphany. So what if your big epiphany, what if your rebirth is coming in little elements? And the more present you are, the more that you'll truly appreciate them. What if, you focusing on you prioritizing you putting you at the center of your world, you spending more time in nature allows you to be more present and experience the magic. What if all of this is just that additional actions you do are all sacred acts of growth? They're all, you spending 5 minutes of meditation or extra 5 minutes if you already meditate, you being present in what's happening inside you, instead of, if you have a question, always asking outside or Google or ChatGPT. What if you sit with yourself and ask you first? Spending time with you, appreciating the magic in the moment, doing things that truly light up your soul, putting yourself in doing things that make you feel uncomfortable, not in danger, uncomfortable, but they're going to stretch you. Because it's in those moments of being uncomfortable is when you grow. But recognizing right now the energy, if you just stop for a second and feel your energy inside, and I ask you to just, do you feel a shift that's happening? Do you feel that something's different? Something different is happening inside you and coming in. There is a part of you that really wants to know what it is. There's a part of the human that is desperate to know what it is, but there's the spirit and the soul is ready and excited. And this is the disconnect we're having right now, is the human really wants to know what's coming next. Everyone says, oh my God, I love change. I embrace it. I feel like we only embrace change when we see it coming. This change, we don't know what it is. So sitting with yourself, really being honest with the shift that's happening. First stage of healing is always awareness. So sitting with yourself and understanding that you're going through a shift and you don't know what it is really the first stage. Awareness is always the first stage. And, like I said, so many people are waiting for this big epiphany. What if it doesn't need to be a dramatic moment? A rebirth is, human birth cycle is 9 months, right? And obviously there's steps before that, but it's a 9 months. So it's not an overnight thing. Same happens with a spiritual rebirth. But you can feel things are different. You can feel things are not the same as they used to be. You can feel the people around you changing, and recognizing that and not being scared of it is a big first step. Then being present in the moment is the next step, is in just doing things for you, being present for magical moments, and realizing and accepting that you're going through a shift. Because when we say rebirth, it means, you are losing facets of you. And it probably also means like people that will leave your life. And some of that is scary, right? You've worked so hard for this version of you. And now there's someone like me that comes along. Well, it's like, hold on, you're going through another shift. You're like, well, hold on. I've just gotten used to this version of me. But this is the cycle we're in right now. We're constantly going through rebirths. And yes, they're not always overnight, but it does feel like this period of the last couple of years has been a lot of rebirths. And I feel like this is going to carry on for at least the next 12 months, probably longer. But ultimately, your answers are in you. Every day is an invitation to return to your truth. Your answers, your everything you're looking for is inside you. And the other thing you got to recognize is the messages that are coming from inside you, your heart and your soul, the messages that are coming from your head, your ego. The messages from your heart and soul are soft. They're not aggressive. Your ego comes over and your ego is aggressive. So recognizing what your soul is saying, doing things that truly light your soul, having people in your world that lift you up, don't drag you down. Doing things that you know that have always lifted you. Did you used to do things that really kind of lifted you, but you strayed back to old patterns or doubts? Do you accept that you're the gift, you're the light? We judge ourselves so much. If you feel like you're failing, you're not. You just got to get back on track. And what does back on track look like? Is prioritizing you and doing what's right for you. And like I always recommend, journaling, time in meditation, time in nature, just allows you to get back to you. If you struggle to spend time with you, then actually there's some healing that's ready to come out. And this is where you need to spend even more time with you. And by the way, if you're having the thought that, I'm not talking to you, if you're having that thought, I am 100% talking to you. And what are the signs that, your soul is asking for a rebirth? If you feel heavy or stuck, even though everything looks fine, outwardly, maybe your world looks, that's a sign of a rebirth. Your routine no longer fills you with energy. You're tired. It feels like you're just doing the things for the sake of doing it. You hear that inner voice saying, there's more, there's more, there's more. That's your soul speaking to you. And yeah, the energy right now is really intense. If you listen to this around, Thursday, the new moon, this new moon is intense. There's 3 planets in retrograde, actually 4. So there's a lot of planetary activity, and that's also going to be draining you. But just sitting with yourself and listen to your heart and soul. And if you listen to this episode, you're probably going through rebirth. But again, if I ask you those questions, do you feel heavy or stuck? But you know what? Everything looks fine. Is your routine, do you feel like you're almost an alien in your own life? There's, you're going through your life, you're going through the journey, but it doesn't fit anymore. That's a sign of a rebirth. And maybe it's time to say yes to your soul. Maybe it's time to talk to you, the human, your ego in you, and say, you don't need protecting anymore. It's time to truly trust whatever's coming next. Saying yes to the soul isn't like shouting to your soul, but it's an intention. It's a quiet choice to realign with love, courage, and trust. Trust in accepting you're meant to be here. Change your question and really look at the world around you and just everything you're going through, changing your question, asking, how is it serving me? How is it helping me? One of the things that I do with the mentorship program, and sometimes during the week, sometimes on my own, is we always ask people to check in with themselves, check in with your 4 bodies. We're physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. How do you feel physically, 1 to 10? How do you feel emotionally, 1 to 10? And emotion is the love that's inside and around you. Mentally, how do you feel, 1 to 10? And that's your ego, your brain. And spiritually, your connection to source, your connection to God, your connection to your guides. How does that feel, 1 to 10? Check in with yourself really gives you insight. And doing it daily gives you insight into, are you in alignment or are you avoiding this? It's not about all being 10s. It's about being honest with what's happening inside. Are you avoiding what you're going through, or are you truly owning it? And the thing is that, why do we always look for external validation? You have your answers inside you. And other people may not even recognize a change in you. They may not even recognize that your life doesn't fit you anymore. But you being honest with yourself is the biggest part of this. You haven't feeling the need you got to explain what you're feeling to other people. Why? This journey, you're a soul having a human experience. You're having a unique journey that's new. Yes, you have souls in your world. They're part of your world, of course. Everything's a co-creation. And these souls, you ask them for them to be in your world. That doesn't mean they're always going to understand what you're going through. This period we've just been, everybody kind of feels, so many people I've spoken to feel really lonely. Nobody really understands me. And yeah, we are entering into a phase of more and more community, but you don't need validation. A rebirth really is sacred and personal. Of course, it has an impact on the world around you, because the more you shine your light, the more that you become a guide for others and not forcing other people to change. But also part of the rebirth is soul contracts do come to an end. So looking at the souls in your world and asking, is this soul contract complete? Does this soul really allow me to shine my light? Does this soul expand me, or does it bring me down? Are you lowering your vibration to be around the soul? Even what you do as a career, are you thriving? Because so many of us, as we go through this period, we are being pushed to do something different. Me personally, I spent 25 years plus in the corporate world and I enjoyed it, right? Don't get me wrong. But near the end, I couldn't stay. I'd already started creating a healing business in parallel, and I couldn't stay. I had to leave. I had no choice. And when I say I had no choice, it was like, humanly, sure, I could have stayed. Nobody was pushing me out or anything. But spiritually, I knew I had to leave. I knew I had to do something different. So I guess the message of this podcast, and definitely listen to the meditation that goes with it, is be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Know and accept that you're being held, you're being guided, and allow the universe to help and support you. Maybe you'll reach out. Maybe you want to, sign up to a mentorship program if my voice resonates, or find somebody else that does. This is a beautiful time to ask for help. But it's always, what's your intention? If your intention is to be fixed, then that's the wrong intention. If your intention is to find somebody to guide you, to hold your space, then for sure reach out. And the other thing is, you're not on your own. Your guides there's more guides around you now. I really believe there's more ancestors and more past lives and more energies and vibrations that are helping us than ever before. And the thing to always remember is, don't put your guides on a pedestal. They don't always have the answers. Not all of them have had a human experience. It's a partnership. You've got to ask for help. You've got to ask for help and support. It's a journey together. It's not a journey in separation. So what would I recommend you do is definitely sit in silence, definitely listen to the meditation. And, there's some questions that you can ask yourself. What would it look like to begin again today? What does that look like? What part of me is ready to rise, even if I feel afraid? Remembering, what is courage? Courage is having fear, but doing it anyway. So what part of me is ready to rise, even if I feel afraid? What if failure is not an option? There's no right or wrong. You're not going to fail. It's just a journey. Who decides what's right or wrong? What if there is no such thing? What if it's just taking a decision? And the next question is, how do you speak to yourself? What does that look like? How do you speak to yourself when you feel like you off track, you fall off track? What does that actually look like? And if I had to ask you in this moment, what does rebirth mean to you? It's a journey. It's a journey. This is a time to really be gentle and to be kind to yourself, but to truly focus on you and shine your light. The guided meditation, the connected meditation, which I'll send as a separate episode, is followed. So I would 100% ask you to listen to that. It's going to be on, my intention is, wherever they take me, they take me. But my intention is for it to be a soul rebirth meditation, really guiding you to come to you. And again, like I said, it's a companion episode, but I intentionally separated it because what I wanted to do was allow you to listen to this episode separately, and also to allow you to listen to the meditation again and again whenever you feel called. That's why I separated it. So let me know feedback on this approach, if it makes sense. I get a lot of feedback on the meditations. People seem to like them. I do know that my voice is my gift. If you fall asleep on the meditation, don't worry. It doesn't mean I'm still speaking to your subconscious. Like I said, a lot of people tell me my voice is calming and it does put them to sleep. If it does, don't worry about it. Listen to the meditation again, but trust whatever's coming through. As you move forward from this space, I invite you to remember, rebirth isn't a one-time moment. It's a choice you make every day to return to you, to your truth, to listen to your soul, to honor you, who you become. You chose to be here. You're meant to be here. You're very much loved. You don't need to wait for perfect timing or the perfect plan. What if that doesn't even exist? You just need to choose you. How often do we wait? Oh, you know what? When I have the perfect plan, when I do this, when I do that, that's when. If you're telling yourself that, stop. And if you're ready to go deep on your journey, then reach out. I'd love to walk along beside you. Book a discovery call. It's free. But always remember that your light is needed. Your voice matters. So many of us, our voice is being activated. And what if your next beginning starts now? What if you are ready to shine your light unconditionally, like it's meant to be? Be your own superhero. You're meant to. You're here for so much more. And again, if you listen to this and saying, well, he's not talking to me, he means somebody else, I am 100% talking to you. And I'm talking, your guys are talking through me. Listen, you're important. Your light is important. Shine it. I'm sending you all so much love and light. If I can help in any way, if you have any feedback, please let me know. I love you all so much. Sending you such a big hug. Sending love and light. And I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.